live. Okay. Don't need headphones. Is there anyone there?
Hello.
Is there anyone there?
Yeah. Yeah, Specky.
Oh, you're wearing spectacles as well.
My eyes are very sore.
Your eyes are very sore. I haven't said this in ages. So what do you want to talk about?
Let's do a beer review.
Oh. Yeah.
I put down I couldn't get the usual stuff that I put on the floor before I hoover it. And I put down one that's supposed to get rid of dog smells. It was quite strong, and I think it's irritated my eyes. What?
What do you want to talk about?
I don't mind. Do you not have something to talk about?
Do you want to talk about Vogue Williams? I have something to talk about.
You always have something to talk about. Why would I want to talk about Vogue Williams?
I thought maybe you wanted to talk about something that was enjoyable to you and that you find of interest. Well, I suppose the first thing is we're not back.
No.
This is more of a dipping our toes in the water because
we're not out.
No, because obviously
Crazy horse.
we're still dealing with a 15-month old, and it's quite tiring, quite unpredictable, quite demanding.
Knackered,
and so we don't we just thought we'd throw this up. You know, I'd say if we got one a month or every other month done, we'd be lucky probably, but you know, obviously things will improve. I was watching, someone commented on a video that I did. It's called
Mr. Ford.
V184. Where?
Down the end there.
Oh, very good. V184, I think it was. Someone commented. It's a video I did out in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, when I was a kid, when we used to play out there. And I was watching it and thinking it was nice.
To reminisce about when we used to have peace.
Well, but the thing is, we'll get back there eventually. That was that was the summer of 2019.
Cheers, guys.
COVID didn't exist. Garrett didn't exist. The roof box was still on top of the van, and I'd only taken the wind deflectors off the windows.
Simple times, Joe.
Simple times.
Weren't they? We didn't know ourselves.
No. So, what do you want to talk about?
No, you just talk.
Mr.
Right?
Ford, Graham Nugent. Hi, long time no see. Ye are looking great. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Are looking great.
Ye is ye.
Isn't that yeah?
No, it's ye. Ye are looking great. It's like the Irish plural kind of thing. Y'all. Well,
you're looking great too, Graham.
Well, look, I think the thing is, the last time I was talking on this, well, it's interesting because we've had such a long break. We've had such a long break, and we've been putting up videos of the channel, videos of the bits and pieces, the day trips and stuff that we've been doing. And what I've noticed is that there's definitely been a bit of a slump in the channel, and it's just interesting. So I used to put my heart and soul into it. I look at the analytics and stuff like that from time to time, and I used to put my heart and soul into it. I used to put loads of videos up and really helpful. But I think we've kind of covered off everything about the van, the porta potty, which is a very popular video.
It's full of shite, that one, that.
Other things, there's stuff like that, helpful tips and things like that for people just getting into the vans are hugely watchable by people. And then our videos started to morph into what we're doing now. And they have a very small, I'd say the algorithm doesn't promote them in any kind of big way. They have a very small following.
Those algorithms would drive you mad, wouldn't they?
Well, the thing is, if you're doing it for your livelihood. So, but I think, I'd say, I always think that down the road when I'm older and retired and I start doing proper trips in the van, will they be hugely interesting? Will they get a lot of views? Maybe not, I don't know. But I just think
I don't think that people that put up videos, I don't really watch YouTube ever, ever get a lot of views on their videos that they put up of traveling. It doesn't seem to be, because didn't we read some comment about somebody saying the self-indulgent traveler who puts up the videos? Didn't we read some comment about that, about going on their travels?
Well, I think it's sort of like that. The implication there is you're forced.
No, see, that's one person's opinion.
The implication there is you're forcing people to watch your videos and you're not, clearly. So I get, like, you see, at this stage now for me, when I look back in the videos, the first ones were definitely a way of driving subscribers into the channel, generating income, and they were interesting to me and obviously of use to people. So like the thing is, when the fuse blew in the van, I didn't know where to start. And then I went, you know what, this would be a good video because it'll be helpful. But now we put up videos of kind of just day trips and things like that as well. But even when we do go away in the van doesn't really feature heavily in them. It's kind of stuff that we're doing. And that's clearly not interesting to people. It's not of major interest to a lot of people. And that's fine. There's no issue with that. But it's just something I've kind of not in hindsight, but as
retrospect,
as time has passed, I'm kind of going, oh, that's interesting to see, because I would have, it's not where I thought we would be in it, but I was definitely a slave to it when I first started. Like, I was owned by it, whereas now I'm far more calmer about the whole thing. And if anything, I'd say the videos I do now are probably better. They're probably, I would say myself, better quality, probably better made, but maybe just generally of lower interest.
We are keeping Mr. Ford's after Ian there is after asking, are we keeping the van? We are keeping the van.
Definitely. But it was my forever van.
It's a retirement home.
Well, so something like that, in my view, you could only afford something like that when you can really pay for the payments. Like, if if you're going to get a bog standard van or second hand, and you kind of pay maybe 40 or 50,000 euro, that's a huge financial outlay. But if you're going to buy a van like yours kitted out, you're going to double that. Like I think the Callys are going for 100k now.
Are they?
Yeah, like a top end one. Yeah, like I saw one. You see them advertise, and you see like a top end, top of the range California, like 90,000 euro. So if you think about it, there's no way an ordinary average person with an average salary, there's no way, I don't think you could afford that, maybe later in life, unless you have massive savings and a fantastic pension or something like that. So that's like a house. That's something you want to buy when you can probably afford the outlay. Because obviously you don't want to wait till you're 65 to have to buy one either. But saying that, people do buy them. People buy them when they're older, but they're probably
have a few bob put away to buy it though.
Or they're not going for all the bells and whistles like I did on some level.
Yeah. Speaker.
So you're both looking good a long time. So that's just it's a kind of bit of a passive observation that I've been making about things as we've been going along, and I think the channel has been kind of quietly bumping away in the background, but it's just more of an observation. But the reason I was going to talk about it was because I was commenting the last time I come on my own, I was saying about how we wild camp now exclusively, other than going to hotels. We tend to wild camp. And it was sort of, I was kind of, I'd rather that you had been here with me to have the discussion.
I know, but I didn't. I missed I was obviously just too tired. I didn't make the connection as to what you were telling me you were doing. I didn't know what you were doing.
We're now planning for next summer holidays in the van, traveling with the family. I have mine ordered now. Should be here soon. Went for an ocean. Very expensive though. Yeah. You see, we are yawning.
I'm so tired.
We are planning.
Nobody has any
We
idea.
are planning a trip. We are planning a trip. But see, I don't think we're going to go foreign in the van, so we'll be at home. But
Pardon.
But I think we're kind of. You see, it's a weird setup now. The van sort of features as it used to be about the van, but now it's kind of like the van has, on some level, turned into a car. It gets us there. Now this could be because of Garrett.
Well, it is because of Garrett.
So there's some level in that. What we do.
When he gets a bit older, we would definitely be traveling in the van.
Yeah.
And staying in the van.
So what we do is, at the moment, we're probably like the last time we went away, we wild camped and then stayed in a hotel.
But to be fair, we got 3 weeks out of him.
3 weeks out
tough. The last week was a tough one.
It's too hard with him. It's too challenging. It's too cramped a space.
He's a tiny little thing, but he's a little tornado, and he wants to be into everything, and he doesn't understand. Like in the house, he's allowed basically do whatever he wants. So when he goes into your domain and everything is so precious, he's not allowed to do anything. So, well, all he wants to do is be up the front pulling at knobs and stuff, and obviously he can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult, and it's difficult to calm him down in the evenings as well, to try and get him to go to sleep, and because we're all there, because usually it'll be just me and him in the room. And I don't even talk to him when I'm in the room with him in the evenings. I just keep shh. So then you and Christian are there, and the two of you take a fit of giggles, or I don't know. You wouldn't know what the two of you get up to. You're making noise anyway, and he just wants to be in with, because he loves being part of the crowd.
Well, I think the thing is, I always remember the first time I went away with Christian, when we went to the States on a plane. And I went, this is a nightmare.
Of epic
like
proportion.
An absolute nightmare. You're trapped on that plane with a child for 6 hours or whatever, 5 hours or whatever it was, and you're thinking, why did I do this? And then not only that, you have to do it all on the way back.
Did we get 2 flights actually? Did we fly straight into Washington, or did we fly to New York?
Remember.
I think we did fly straight to Washington.
Remember.
Yeah.
But then you're kind of and then your luggage went missing, was it? Yeah. So then and you probably had all his stuff. So I think, see, the thing is, I think that there's just the van, you can't have that level of disruption in the van. It's just a complete waste.
It's not designed for it, no.
Yeah. So I think the thing is, with the van is probably taking a bit of a back seat until he's old enough that we can tell him what to do, and he'll behave himself, and he won't be, so that could be easily another year and a half, maybe 2.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, like it's relatively tight for space anyway, at the best of times. But then when you put in his massive car seat on top of the tight for space in the evenings, well, I suppose, no, not really, I suppose, because we got the car seat in underneath the thing, because we take the porta potty out and put it into, so that's kind of what we were doing. But yeah, he's definitely, and then obviously he wakes up at 5:30 in the morning, so he's like, it's impossible to keep everyone asleep when he's awake at 5:30 in the morning.
Well, look, I think staying in the van, you don't get great sleep anyway.
No,
it's not like you might probably after a week, but I can't. I think the last time we spent any kind of length of time was in Italy, wasn't it?
Italy, yeah. I was only chatting to somebody about Italy today.
So we're not used to. So we're not used to camping in the van for any kind of length of time. Therefore, we're going to have disturbed sleep anyway. And so this is the thing. That's why I don't. So I think we do have a trip planned. We're kind of but it's a more conventional. It's you need a Ford Nugget. I'm like the Cali family. Yeah, they're the Cali family.
What's a Ford Nugget?
It's like the Ford version of the California.
Is it bigger?
No.
That's what we definitely
It's not. It's not. I don't know. It's not. But they have millions. They're the family with all the little girls. You know that family. So
tell me about them, yeah.
So I think the thing is that but they're I don't know, but also I'd say either they're little girls, they're very young ones, are very calm and quiet, and Garrett isn't, or else they're just super chilled, which we're not. So we have the kind of child that is a reflection of our personalities, a little little shit. so I think that see this
no, and I suppose so. When, to be fair to him as well, like, he's full of mischief. He wants to know exactly everything that's going on. He wants to be in the middle of everything.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like when we went away that time, all he thought he'd never get into that lake. Do you know what I mean? And then he ended up with some bleeding sort of rash of some description from it.
Yeah.
But like, because you have to be so, especially that he's walking now, you have to be so careful with him.
Yeah.
Like, we won't be going anywhere near lakes for the foreseeable, and that's it. It won't be happening.
Well, yeah. So look, I see. So I think the thing is that we're in a bit of a weird place. I think we were kind of getting back into using the van.
Yeah.
And then we had Garrett, and that's kind of knocked it all on the head. And also, I think then we're still coming out of COVID. Like, I haven't been on a plane in 3 years, I'd say. Is it? The only time I went flying anywhere was
New
at work.
York was the last time I was on
No,
a plane.
well, I was away at work, say, but that's probably 3 years ago now, because you didn't fly during COVID.
Christian and I don't even have passports anymore.
Yeah. So I think there's a thing. I think there's a thing there where we're kind of, we're probably rounding a corner with him because he can walk now, and he's probably relatively easier to mind than he was when he was an absolute.
Well, he understands what you're saying.
Yeah.
To an extent, obviously.
But the camper van, even staying in a hotel on some level, is not money wasted, but it's certainly it's a compromised trip with him, because if you think about it, full tank of fuel, there's €100 easily, probably 100. No, like the fill it to scratch, you're looking at €120.
Oh yeah.
Then if you're staying somewhere, say you are staying in a campsite and all that kind of stuff, and it was funny. I remember when we had him, we went to remember the time we went up to Drogheda, and he was only very young. I remember we drove and we left Drogheda and we parked on the beach. And when we got there was a family camping there. And they remember the young kids, and the kids are screaming and roaring and stuff like that. And we were like,
he was only about 4 or 5 weeks at that stage.
Yeah, but remember, he completely lost it then when we were leaving. Remember, he went into a total meltdown. He did.
Yeah, you had to stop the van, didn't
you? Well, we couldn't. See, you're kind of trapped because you can't drive while you're trying to settle him and pacify him, but driving pacifies him and settles him, so you're caught into this you're caught in this place with him, I think.
We couldn't keep him in the Oh, Dave, do you know, I was literally only thinking of Dave.
Hey, how are you keeping?
I literally only thought to myself, I wonder how Dave is.
I think the Cali does not really support having a baby with all of the baby stuff you need to bring, and then if they're teething, I think you would feel very confined. Yeah, and the thing about it is, you see, we can't have him up the front. And that's where he wants to be. Garrett is the kind of guy where he wants to have it and wreck it till he's bored with it. But the only way he's going to get bored with the front of the van is by letting him up there and having him drool all over everything and chewing on everything and pulling on everything and breaking everything.
On some level, Jay, it doesn't have one, like, the van is so precious, right? 2, you've all these little knickknacks and bits and bobs hanging around that he's just dying to get his hand on. So,
well, I'm sorry that I customized my van to suit myself.
Yeah, well, you should have kept it in your trousers. You dip your wink, you pay for the oil.
So that's the thing. So look, I think the thing is that's essentially the conversation we were having, that I was having the last time. Conversation was about wild camping versus.
I think wild camping is actually far more relaxing. When I think about it, and apart from obviously the toilet situation. But when I think about it, I rather just kind of pulling up somewhere that's our space. I hate this going in, and again, it's just like living in a housing estate. You're in a fishbowl. People are watching. They're looking to see what you have, what you don't have, and they are, because I do it, so I know other people do it. They're going, because that's how I noticed that we had the other couple had that pump up tent that time. I was like, we're getting one of them.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. So every time I look at you, I go, ooh. So I have to take them
Vanessa
off.
has new glasses.
So yeah, so I definitely much prefer wild camping.
Yeah, and this is the point I was saying, but I think the thing for me is it's not so much that I prefer the wild camping. I do, but I think the thing is I hate campsites so much. I think this is the point I was making the last time, that I really, really just don't like them. Now, saying that, I haven't. There are, as I said to you before, there are campsites out there that I haven't been to, that Aaron has been to. There's that one that's in the forest. There's a couple of them. There's one in Limerick, I think it's in some kind of forest. And that looks nice. But I just think, generally speaking, every experience I've had in a campsite has left me feeling wanting. And you know what they say, you should probably go off and make up your own campsite that would suit what we want, and then attract those kind of people.
I'd love to do that.
You're mad for that kind of stuff, having your own B&B or a hotel or whatever.
No, the B&B would do me. I don't think I'd want to feed people every meal that they're having every day.
So that's the thing, and that's what I was just going to say, that I just wouldn't be, it's just not my cup of tea to do that. So there you go. So I think, is it a hassle finding safe?
No.
Park for night. It's called
Park for a night.
No, Park number 4 night. Park for night. That's a great little app of finding and so I look at that, and then what I do then is I cross-reference it with Google. So what I'll do is, typically I'll find out the place I'm going to go. So there'll be something on nationwide on the telly, and I go, all right, that's good. That's somewhere I've never heard of in Ireland. That's no one's heard of, but it looks brilliant. And how do we not know where this place is? Then I'll immediately go and find where it is, and then I'll look for Park for night, and then between Park for night and Google, I kind of scout out the areas. And then you look at the reviews, and they're fairly accurate. The review. Remember the first time we went up to Ballycastle, was it? Ballycastle? They're saying people driving around at night in the car park.
They were spot on.
And I choose to ignore it, and we were kept away.
And we didn't stay there this time.
No,
did we not?
we were kept.
It had started. We saw one car, and we went, right, we're out here.
We were kept awake for the night. So they are fairly good, yeah. And we didn't. It was a pity now, because we wanted to stay there, but we didn't. And so Park for night is very good. And then I'd say the thing then is, and then Google, and you'll see when you on Google, you can zoom in and see what you're dealing with. But then what I would say is, then typically if you arrive and your instincts are saying to you maybe it's a bit dodge, then maybe it is. But we haven't had that. We haven't had that.
No.
And we've stayed in some really, really, really remote places and stuff like that as well.
We've also stayed in towns.
Dungarvan
and Craignamanagh, is that what it was called, on the side of the river there?
Oh, Craignamanagh. Yeah, I'm sure we've stayed in Ballycastle. Yeah, of course, yeah. So yeah, we've stayed, like, Craignamanagh is a great little spot to stay in as well. It's really, really nice and very picturesque, and they actually have a really nice campsite. But you see, what happened was, this is the thing, we parked on the canal, and there was other people parked along. It's the river, actually, the Barrow. So people were parked along with us. But because you're not kind of all, like, you're not paying, you're on the road, and there's other vans, so therefore you don't feel affiliated with them in any way, because they're just doing their own thing. So there's no need to engage with them. So therefore, if you want to hop out and go to the pub, or like we did, we went up to the Chipper and got pizza. But then we went into the campsite, and the minute I walked into the campsite, I was like, this is why I don't, because you're walking through the campsite and you can feel everybody watching you. You're like, who are you?
You like that kind of apartment living, that kind of thing, that it's you're on your own. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for.
I'm on my own. Isolated.
No, not isolated. That's not the word. That it's more of a privacy thing.
Yeah.
Than, like, and I have found that when we've stayed in campsites, it's more. See, I suppose we're quite private in a sense that we're not really. We didn't grow up camping, so we don't kind of know the way. You go into campsites and people are like, practically, hi campers.
Oh no, even
you're not into that at all. Like,
even if we did, I don't think I'd be.
No, and I do like to talk to people. Anonymous, that's the word.
Yeah, because I was thinking, what I like about hotels is you're anonymous.
Yeah, that's the word. So then that's kind of apartment living and stuff like that. That's that kind of thing. It's just like your man in number 4, but nobody knows who your man in number 4 is. You know, whereas here in a housing estate, it's like you're in a fishbowl. Everyone knows who everyone is, and you're not faceless. Where I think that's why wild camping suits. Well, not necessarily wild camping, because we don't go out into the sticks all the time.
I think as well, the nature of what I do when I'm camping is videoing as well. So, it's like, you don't want to be, I wouldn't want to be, like, yeah, you can video the van and stuff and there's people around you. And then, yourself, you're conscious of other people and getting them into the video and kids and all that kind of crap. So, I don't know. I think when we went remember we stayed in the place, what's the place? It was, remember when we went down Paddy's Day and we had, what's it called? Parsons Green, was it? Yeah. And it was a lovely little campsite, really, really nice. But again, I kind of knew myself it was coming because we stayed there. But then we spent all our time. This is the thing. We spent all our time away from the campsite. Whereas we find when people get there, the satellite dish goes up, the telly goes on, and it's a home from home for them. They have power.
Well,
and
we
toilets.
we went to Italy after that, wasn't it? And then, or was it before that?
Oh no, we went to Italy after.
Yeah, and then we kind of were like, no, do you know what? We're definitely not doing campsites ever again.
Well, I wouldn't say never. I'd say there probably is some place to them, but I think, like again, the one. I think maybe
probably on the continent, when we do eventually get back to going, we probably will have no choice but to, if we need showers and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. No, because you see, I think the thing is, I'd say for myself, I'd prefer to stay in a hotel. So, I think the thing for me is, I think what happens is after a few days,
for the record.
So the mistake when we went to Italy, the mistake we made when we were in Italy, and I'll just answer someone. So PT is saying wild camping with a pop top. It's a bit weird. So yes, I see your point. I think the thing is, right. So if you don't have a pop top, you have a massive van, then, right? So you have one of those permanent, so like the size of a VW Crafter kind of van. And then you have a permanent bed, so you don't have a pop-up roof. Now, they're very big, and trying to find a parking spot from them and everything is a bit of an issue. The beauty of the California is it sits in a regular parking spot. And what we do is, well, we don't always arrive late, but what there saying is, you must have a photographer fella I like, what's his name? Thomas Heaton. So he wild camps as part of his photography, and he says the number one rule is arrive late and be discreet. So what we do is when we go anywhere, we'll wait.
We're discreet
till things calm down, till it's right till the end of the day.
We'd have poor Christian chomping at the bit. Can we put the top up? Can we put the top up? Can we put?
But then that's what we do. Then we put the roof up then, and we kind of somewhat test the water. So what we might do, so say for example, we'll get to, there's a car park. What's that place down in Cork we went to? Because no, the one with the pontoon. Barley Cove, yeah. So typically there's no camping signs all over the place and stuff like that. So what we do is we arrive in and we will set up and we'll stay there. And then at some stage then what we'll do is we'll probably later in the evening pop the top and bring it up. And this is a kind of way of drawing out any if people, because locals are passing through and everything like that. And you're kind of going, okay, are they going to come and say something to us? And then once they don't, what was the name of the place we stayed? Mulla. We stayed in the harbour up in Mulla. Remember that place when we were up near? Remember we went to when we went to Sligo. We came down from Donegal. We parked in the harbour.
Yeah, where Mountbatten.
Yeah, where Mountbatten. Yeah, Lord Mountbatten, where he was brought in after being,
died,
blown up. So we stayed there, and I was a bit conscious. I was kind of going, okay, So we stayed there for a while, and we set up, and we had Garrett, so it was quite awkward. And we were trying to level. We were trying to level the van, and so then after a while, then we popped the top and we kind of gauged to see. And then if that doesn't draw after an hour or two, if you don't have people coming down going you can't camp here, then we turn the seats and go into camp mode, and then people are usually okay with it. There's usually no trouble.
To be fair, like obviously we're clearly a family and we're not there to stay for a week. We're very obviously just there to. I keep hitting that. We're very obviously just there to stay for the night or whatever. We've never had any sort of bad experience with people.
She says.
Touch wood. Like we've never had anyone kind of come up and say, well, actually that's a lie. Once in Balmullet, Blacksod, the man came up and said, well, you probably shouldn't park there because there's a storm warning tonight. And he just basically told us to move over to the other side of the road.
Yeah, he's dead right. He's very helpful. Yeah, so I think the thing is, and reading David's point there, he said, I don't think wild camping would be unusual with a pop top. You think stealth camping, yeah. So that's true, yeah. So stealth camping would be if you're parked in the middle of a town. So I think then we wouldn't, because obviously the whole idea, and we did that once. We parked in Dungarvan once, where we only had the van. I think it was the first time we ever stayed in it, and we parked in the town. Not in the town, but right in the very edge.
What were you saying? Sorry, I was completely ignoring what you were saying.
Sort of stealth camped when we first had the van in Dungarvan.
Yeah, we were doing the half marathon.
Yeah,
a 10-mile.
So then that's what we did. We parked, and that would be probably the only time we've.
Oh God, Christian! Look, you don't even fit into the camera.
That's the only time we stealth camped.
The height, you.
So
you have to lean down.
When you hear Christian's voice, I was watching a video of him 3 years ago, and he's like, "Yeah, Dad, look at the tree, Dad! Oh my God!" And he's like, "Yeah, how are you?" My name's Christian. Say something.
No. Something.
No. So let's have a look here.
Christian's now in secondary school.
I get the fishbowl mentality. I like privacy on the site too. However, we tried strand camping this year near Doonbeg. Very small, but it was great. Oh right, I think you would like it, and it's very reasonable. Yeah. So
what's strand camping?
It's a place called Strand Camping. Campsite's called Strand Camping.
Oh, all right.
Well, I'm assuming
I thought that's what all the hip kids were calling something new.
Yeah, and look, and I think the thing is, there are campsites, off season, the ones that say open in the winter. Remember when we camped down in what's it called, down in the Tipperary? What's it called? First place. Caherdaniel.
Oh,
like
no,
we had
that
the
wasn't Caherdaniel.
Yeah, it was in Caherdaniel. That's the area.
Oh, right.
The first one we went to.
Okay.
And we basically had the campsite to ourselves, and we were parked down on the sea.
It snowed then, actually.
Yeah. So that was amazing. That was the ocean. It was amazing. And so I think maybe going to them off season, or again for convenience of having things like toilets and all that kind of stuff and showers. So. Like it's a very kind of like I'd say we're barely scratching the surface now at the moment. If we go away, it's for a night. It's not really very taxing.
Yeah, Christian.
Whereas if you're gone for a couple of weeks, and you're not prepared to stay in hotels, then I think I could see the benefits of like you said, if you're on the continent, you'd probably pull into places and stay for a night and move on.
Yeah, I suppose if you're trying to get around and you're trying to see things and you want to do it on the cheap as well, it's definitely. Like, listen, don't get me wrong, I love to stay in a new hotel. You know how I feel about a hotel breakfast. But I think, yeah, if you're just looking for a shower and to move on early the next morning, there's no point in spending 100 and odd or 200 quid on a hotel. Just stay in your van on a campsite and go the next morning. Yeah,
so I think the thing for me is that I think the way it is, it's a three-way split here, right? If you arrive into a town and camping stealth wild is outlawed, then it's a campsite, right? But if you're at the end of maybe a week stint of wild camping and all, and you're kind of gone, I want to pamper myself, I go to a hotel.
Oh yeah,
you know. So I think the thing is, it depends. Like I know when this started for us is when we were coming back from Munich, and then we stayed in the hotel in Paris, and I started to think, there's probably, and then we went to Italy, and it was too much. It was too hot, and the campsite, it was a nightmare. And so I think the thing is that, see, the camping in a camper van, like any kind of camping, you need the right conditions, So remember that guy, up in Black Sod, and your man was trying to pitch the tent and the gale wind, and
you're kind of going, in the middle of a storm.
Yeah.
Storm Barra or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you're kind of going, no, that's nuts. So I think there's obviously hardcore dedicated people who will only camp in campsites. Then there's people who probably stealth camp, and I always remember the morning we were doing the marathon in Dublin. One year.
Our first year,
we didn't even have a van. No. We were getting one. We were waiting for the van. So we were waiting for the van to be built.
October before we got it.
Yeah. So we would only just order, because I ordered it around my birthday, which is the end of September, was it?
Yeah.
So and then we were walking through Dublin, and
October. We were actually if you remember, we were standing at the start line waiting for our wave to take off.
Yeah.
And we were standing in like an old Georgian house doorwell with black sacks over us because it had been raining.
Yeah.
And we were watching the guys sitting in the back of the California. Yeah.
That's the point I was going to make.
Yeah, I know, but you were
It wasn't a
saying
California, it was a conversion.
You were
So
taking a long
I was.
time.
You took longer than I did.
No, I didn't.
So what happened was we were walking through the area, the compound where all the runners are kept in, and the door was open and people had gone in and parked or something like that in that general area. That's what I remember. So that was ideal. I can't remember what my point was going to be, but anyway, the point was
They were self-parking.
there's people who prefer different things, and
Mhm.
yes, there is a budgetary aspect, and there's also a preference aspect. But I think the thing is that what I've learned is that I think. I'd say if we went to Scotland and we were traveling all around Scotland, say, and there was no hotels and stuff like that, and you were going to wild camp, then great. If you're going to stay in campsites and wild camp or whatever, then great. It's do whatever you want to do that suits yourself. And then I think that's the thing with the van now. What being too prescribed with regards to what you're going to do only with the van. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'd never go back to a campsite, so like that place Strand or something like that. You'd say, yeah, I'll go back there. But I think the thing is, anyone who's new to camping, you have to understand that those campsites, they're a utility and they come with a cost, don't they? And our first few experiences at campsites was quite off-putting.
I definitely felt like we were on I just wasn't comfortable enough.
A site of some kind, maybe, where you might stop for the night.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So let's have a look. Okay, let's see. Strand camping is managed by a couple from Cornwall. Lovely. You can't beat the people from Cornwall. We were in Cornwall. Cornwall is lovely. Olney Island would also be nice for wild camping. All right, very quiet and beautiful. Can be reached when the tide is out. And you can drive across the beach. Is that in Ireland? I think I saw that place on the TV.
I'd love to go somewhere like that.
I think I saw that in Ireland and recently. Yeah, but you have to drive across. But there could be still water.
Yeah, well, clearly I'd get out and walk.
No,
because I would not be going across. No.
The only thing I thought, because you have to watch the tides and you have to ring a number before you go. So what you want is the tide, really. But the only thing I'd say is, I know driving on the roads in the winter when they're iced or they're salted, but I think I'd be conscious of driving across all that salty water in the van, especially a VW.
It doesn't need any excuse.
It'd be like, and they go, "Oh, did you drive through salty water?" Yeah, that's why all your electrics are fried. Why? What happened?
That's why your roof is blown off.
That's why your wheels fell off. Your wheels fell off because you drove through salty water. And the VW California.
No,
if you read the small print,
all things. No joking. My dad's friend bought a import from the north, and
you need to talk into the mic, Fee.
They can hear me.
But every time you pull away, it's
So they bought an import from. Don't start now, or there be this.
No, but you know what I mean. It's like
the first and last one of these.
Every time if you double your distance,
I'll double my distance.
It quarters the volume. It's the squared law, I think. David Stafford will know that. It's the inverse squared law. So if you double the distance, you get quarter the power. Isn't that right, David? David's an engineer. He knows. David knows all this stuff. Go on, what were you saying? Come on.
Now, see, Graham said it's very safe to cross to Olney. You won't get wet at all. Where is it though?
I think I saw it was on.
Is
I think
it
was on the TV there
Jude
recently.
Law? Is it the one that Jude Law?
No, it's in Ireland.
Oh,
unless I'm thinking there's a place in the UK, but I saw somewhere recently, and they stayed on the island. Excuse me, and you have to ring before you go across. You have to ring a number to let them.
Connacht.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was on the TV. I saw it. Actually, a man went to it. What's his name went to it? The guy, he's doing the
Connemara. Wouldn't you know it's off Flecken Clifton as well?
What's his name? Did something bite me there?
Yeah. That's not a shame now, isn't it?
So, what's his name did it? The fella that's going around doing all the names of Ireland, that's Gaelic. But anyway, so there you go.
Oh yeah, look.
Yeah.
Follow the road signs, obviously.
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
Oh Jesus, there's no quicksand around there now.
Quicksand. No, should we have
I'd walk across now, definitely.
You drive across in the van, you idiot. You're probably more at risk walking. The van has 4 motion. Actually, we parked up in. We went down to Clontarf, the beach, and the sand the sand on the beach. So you can only used to be able to drive. Used to park on more of the beach, but they put down those big rocks to stop it. And the sand is so light; it's like powder.
And you can walk. Look, there's people walking across.
If you can drive, of course you can walk. But you could see people coming in and immediately getting stuck in the sand, except the 4x4s and ourselves, obviously, because we have 4Motion. So it paid for itself immediately that day because the amount of people that got stuck.
Yeah, there was a lot of pushing people out that day, wasn't there?
There was. So the 4Motion is very handy for that kind of stuff, and that's the reason I got it, even though it was extra weight. So the fuel economy's gone down. And what?
Little VW going across.
And yeah, so it paid for itself that day, and that's the one thing that we're making sure that we had have the 4Motion. It's brilliant, but I was a bit kind of going, are we actually able to be able to drive in this sand? Yeah, I think it's on my list. Although I think I saw it and I went, I'm not sure because that's salty water, and I just don't think a VW will be able to handle it. I think it'll rust your exhaust pipes.
Looking at that, if you go on to Bettystown, you can go on there.
Graham says, I walk and drove across many times and it's great. Once the tide goes out, it gets so dry, and if you miss the tide, you have to stay on the island. Oh, very good.
Once you have a few scoops, you'll be happy as Larry to do that.
Yeah. So look, I think the thing is, I'd say it's just an These
are getting in the way of my glasses.
It's just an interesting thing. I just think that whole wild camping and stuff like that as well is sort of something we've kind of come to. That's our MO, you know. That's what we're into. You're a bit too close to the mic now. So that's kind of what we're into now. Once we get back camping.
So Ian was just saying there, Christian is getting bigger.
Yeah.
Where's the time going?
He is, isn't he? Yes.
Where's the time gone?
He is.
Well, there was. How
many glasses have you had?
That's it. And I haven't had anything to eat since 12:30 today.
So what else do you want to talk about?
I don't mind. You keep talking. You're the talker.
I'm the talker.
Yeah. What?
No, I'm just thinking.
You know which are you?
Yeah, no. I think is it a spot?
Right. No, it looks
it's
like
not a bite. It's not a bite. It feels like a spot. It's a pimple. Some kind of pimple.
Well, no, it's quite raised around it.
Yeah,
it does look pimply, but it looks raised around it.
I think it's a pimple. So, look at my t-shirt. Lovely day for Guinness. This is a plastic cup. This is my favorite cup to drink beer out of. We got it from Munich. The beer garden.
No, it wasn't a beer garden.
Where was it?
No,
isn't that the pool?
Yeah.
What are they called? What do they call them?
It was like a canal.
Lido. Is that what they're called? Lido? I'm not sure. Anyway, no. So we went in and we got these, and they're absolutely fantastic. We have it years, and beer is just great out of it because you can see the Guinness stays relatively frothy in it. And it's really, really brilliant. So it lives in the house till we go away in the van, and then I bring it away with me, and that's absolutely brilliant. You have to get these. These are great. You see, did we only take the one? Did we? We only had the one of these.
We only got the one because you were the only person drinking.
And we got a couple from Fantastival.
They're not as good, but they're grand.
Yeah. Anyone been to Fantastival? Aaron went.
A few weeks ago.
Aaron went. Yeah. Aaron went to Fantastival, I think.
We might go again in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, well, you see now, Christians at that awkward age, you can't bring them. Can't bring them, isn't it? Is it 16? Is it 6? Is it 6? There's an age. I think there's some kind of
picnic that they can't come.
No, I think Fantastival is the same.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think they don't let them on site for obvious reasons. Well, it's ageist. It is ageist, isn't it?
And it's not really fair because what about families like us?
What?
Our little we're not a blended family, but our little strange family.
Just book Camper Jam.
What's that? Oh, it's obviously in England.
Why do you say that? With a name like Camper Jam?
Well, no, he lives in England.
I think. I think. I forget this is international. You know. So actually, that Camper Jam, I think that's very interesting history. I think I was watching about it on YouTube, and they're saying that like it just started up as a very small thing. Some guy set it up with his buddies. and it's grown and grown and grown.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that I'd like to go to. I think I'd like to I'd like to go to something like that. Like Fantastival is very good. I enjoyed that, but the only problem is you're really, really, really relying on the weather. Because Fantastival in the rain.
It did rain one of the days that we were there.
Yeah.
And we were in the woods watching Wolf. Remember that? With 2 Fs.
Wolves with 2 Fs, yeah.
That was great crack, actually, though.
Yeah.
I just think those kind of things are a little bit samey, though, aren't they?
Samey. Yeah. Go once, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you don't know the bands or anything like that, you're kind of going.
Yeah, look, I think it was part of the novelty of going and camping with the van and everything like that as well. And that's when we were at is it Nader? Is that when you're at your peak? You're Nader. And I think we were at our
Dave was at the Fantastival.
Very lucky with the weather. Yeah. See, I'd say you'd be very good. Like, was it Electric Picnic? The first night was terrible.
Shocking.
Was it? Oh no, Electric Picnic was a washout, wasn't it?
Yeah, because Fogue and Joanne were doing their they were supposed to be on the main stage to do their podcast, and they had to get moved into a tent because the weather was so bad.
But I was thinking it was what's his name? The country western singer. What's his name?
Any Cash?
No, I've got friends in
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks. The first night in Dublin was a bit
amazing.
No, weather-wise wasn't great, I think, and then it got great.
Oh yeah. That's what it was. It wasn't the worst. Most of the nights, I don't think anyone got soaked. I think by the time the concert came on, everyone it was grand.
Not a big fan of concerts, but the thing with concerts is when I go, if I get a ticket and go, or someone brings me, I always go, these are great. I should go to these more often. Yeah. But the minute I walk out the door, I go, that's the last one I want to go.
Yeah, but listen, if Michael Bublé comes back to Ireland, you need to get tickets for that.
Well, I'd like to see Little Dragon if they can. I'd like to go and see them live. I would definitely make my.
Well, if we go to see Michael Bublé, you can definitely go and see Little Dragon.
Yeah. So what's this? Come on, massive on the California club site, showing your age. Come on. What's that? Oh, massive. Massive Attack. Is it? No. Yes, fantastic. Great. Come on.
You're showing your age.
On the what's massive on the club site?
Dancing music.
Is the Camper Jam? Is it?
Must be.
Yeah, California club site. That's that website, is it? The California. Is it California?
I don't know.
What's the thing? I was only looking at it tonight. The California.
You were looking at me.
But I'm a member so long I can't remember. I'm a VIP member in case that means.
Can't remember.
The California thing, and it's is anyone on that California?
Are you about to start getting controversial, are you?
Good. I won't, because that would lead me to be saying certain controversial things.
Yeah.
No.
You're better than that.
So there you go. So Vanessa, have you learned anything? Any new? The music is great. Have you learned any? Anything psychological going on? Just to kind of for people. Anything going on now that you're a guidance counselor, professional. Vanessa's going to start doing no, she's a life coach. Qualified, top of her class, weren't you? You did really, really well, didn't you?
I think we all done very well.
Top of her class, no doubt. And and it was hard to pass, so congratulations, Spool of us. So
all while eating Rennies.
Yeah, but I would say I'm not seeing the benefit of it though.
Would you?
Yeah, I don't get any. There's no life coaching coming my way from you.
You did tell me at one point not to do that, though.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, weigh in. I mean, a drowning man says, "I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm not drowning," and people go, "Oh, he's all right. He's not drowning." And someone goes, "I think he is drowning." What? Yeah. Oh. So so there you go. So any insight to help people with their psychology.
I'm sure everyone is doing fine, Jay. I don't think anyone needs. I'd say don't have a child at 41.
See, unless you're paying her. She's not giving you anything. It's like, no, don't give away. Don't. Would you not give anything away free? No, like some kind of, that's like the Buddha going, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I'm not telling you anything. Unless you buy my book.
I'm not giving unsolicited advice. But
why not?
Because people probably don't want it.
No, but you can give some kind of generic kind of information.
Follow your gut.
Oh, why do you say that?
Because that's what you should do, because it will
Why?
never lead you
Come
astray.
on now. Why? Come on. That's very interesting.
Your gut will never lead you astray. You always... I wish I'd have followed me gut, lads.
You're good lads.
Me gut. 16 years ago. I tell you.
No, you were beating down the door. Would you stop? You couldn't wait to get hitched to this. You know, you were like... You know what I mean? Your gut instinct.
I should have.
If it was saying anything, you were not listening.
It's gone. Shouldn't have had that curry last night.
You were not listening. Is that true? Is it? That's terrible, isn't it? That's terrible. It's very hurtful.
You stop now. I'm only messing with you.
Yeah, Graham loves your laugh, and you get so much practice at home. She does. She gets plenty of practice. So that's it. So no psychological, nothing psychological, no psychological insights or anything like that.
No, sure. I'm worn out working on you.
Yeah.
I can't give any more advice.
You're worn out working on me.
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean by that?
All the psychological inputs I need to have with you daily.
No, I'm training myself these days. Thanks very much.
Are you? I let you believe that you are.
The only thing I'd say to people is that it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Stuff is just not easy. It's just not, isn't it?
No.
And that's what the Buddha says. Like, life is pain, and it's true. Like, it's just, even the simplest things are just hard, isn't it? So I don't know. I don't end the podcast on a bit of a down buzz or anything like that, but it is hard. It is hard. It is, you know. So look, give yourself a break. And yeah, I don't know. I was there today, and I was talking to somebody, and I was kind of listening to them. And the thing I find is what I try not to do is I try not to get too. What I'm trying to do is not get drawn into their drama. What?
Listen to you.
and so that's what I'm trying not to do. But you're kind of going, it's hard.
You do love a bit of drama.
No, I don't. I hate drama. So I think what's...
You do, Jay.
Huh?
I don't think it's the drama you do. I think it's the opportunity to advise and help that you love.
Well, you know the thing about it is, right? Well, there's a level of teaching here in that what I'm probably doing is I'm probably reinforcing my own learnings and thoughts, but I'm telling somebody. But really, whether they take it on board or not, I don't care. I'm more or less saying it out loud to somebody who's not you. Like, because you're a bit opaque these days with me, right? I'm like, I don't know what you're thinking. But so if I can say it, you can see it goes over people's heads because they're so lost and engrossed in their own stuff. They're not looking for advice. They're just not. You know, and you say stuff. Although I have said things to some people and they've kind of quoted it back to me, and they're kind of going, all right, okay, so they did listen to that, or they did think about maybe something that I said. But I think there's an aspect there of, you know, like I was talking to this guy today, and you get sucked in, you know, it's like a vortex, and now what I do is I kind of go, whoa, like I don't want to get drawn in to their stuff. And that I find that's the knack. That is the thing is, you know, it's interesting, and I know Dave Stafford is knocking around a long time with me, do stuff I've been doing, in that, like, staying present and not getting drawn in is next to impossible. I put it up there with doing a marathon. It's up there with the challenge of doing a marathon. It's so hard. But at the same time, if you can master it, not getting pulled into other people's stuff, if you can it's like a black hole, the event horizon. If you go over the event horizon, that's it, you're gone down into it. But if you can just hang back and stay on the edge of this without getting, so that way you're close enough to feel what they're saying and what they're talking about and understand, but not get pulled in that you're gone down with them, if you know what I mean. You've gone down their black hole.
Yeah, but see, then you're sympathizing with them, you're not empathizing with them.
I see. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is
we're losing people by the drove now. Look,
well, that's because you were talking.
Go on, and it's 9 o'clock. They're gonna have to watch the news.
Sympathizing is you're there and you have the placard and you're crying with them. And you're going, I know how you feel.
Well, I don't say that to people.
No, I know, but that's what's in. I'm giving you an example.
Okay.
Whereas empathizing with them is, you're going, I understand that you're feeling that way.
Yeah.
Explain it to me.
But they don't. People don't.
No, because people don't actually understand their feelings.
Yeah.
But that's a problem in this country, because we have never been allowed to show our feelings. And that's what we need to claw our way out of.
And Graham says, I think you're both very self-aware and honest. And thank you, Graham. And the fact that you recognize that in us means the exact same thing about you too. Mwah! So the thing I'd say with people, the thing I'd say with people, I find, is that they're like, it's like looking into a pinball machine. Bing, 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 bing. You know the way. So that guy I was talking to today, he was all over the place, and I was like, right. Okay.
Yeah, because
so like,
he was a little bit manic, because
he was definitely very manic.
What you do in that situation is
free advice, people. Free advice.
No, this is to you. I'm telling. I'm not telling people there. What you do in that situation is you kind of calm yourself down, and you make sure you're relaxed. And then what they do, because if you meet them where they are with their behavior, all that is everything gets even worse.
Yeah.
So what you do is you calm yourself down. You put your hands, if you're sitting down, you just put your hands on your legs and you relax. And you do that breathing, maybe not quite as weirdly as you're doing it there. You do that, and then immediately they'll see you and they'll start to mirror it.
Yeah.
You know? And then you slowly go into your say. So I've noticed, so we'll just take a little pause there. I've just noticed that you're whatever.
The thing I'd say, and sure, we may as well wrap it up now. People are going off to watch the news and whatever. What I'd say is, this is a place of work where I am.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
but see, they might be using you as a bit of a mentor. Okay, so you have to understand that. You're not officially their mentor, but they might be using you as a mentor or a sound box or something like that. So you have to professionally meet them with that kind of in your mindset, you know, that they could be using you in this way. They're not just using it as a colleague and someone that they're just spouting off at.
Yeah.
You know? I
do know. So there you go. I'm going too, Mr. Ford. They Zeds.
That's you. You weren't bored. He's going to send me a message now on Instagram saying, what's your man shiting on about?
It's not, you have to, you know.
Yeah.
If you were, see, this is the thing. If you were on a campsite with us or in the van,
you'd be asleep now.
No, this is where the conversation would end up going. Look, there's two things that are going to happen in the van, right? I'm going to sit drinking beer, listening to music, doing my own thing, and there'll be silence in the van, other than the music. Lovely. And we'll be all sitting there.
I'd be reading.
Within a couple of feet of each other, obviously. But we're all separate. But it's a lovely mix of, we're together, we've spent the day together, we've done loads of things together. But this is our kind of our me time, and Christian will be on his iPad, and I might be doing something, and listening to music and having a few drinks, and we might be talking, and it's really, really nice. Or it might go down the road of having there'd be some kind of intellectual edge to the conversation. And I think the thing is, maybe that's the antithesis to maybe going to these campsites, because when you see people pulling in these 150 and 200,000 euro camper vans and their satellite goes up,
on, yeah.
And on goes the TV, you go, so why bother leaving your house? Anyway.
And we never even got to talk
Thanks,
about
Dave.
Lizzie.
Oh yeah, Liz Truss.
No.
The Queen. All right, sorry. Anyway, we'll catch us on the flip side. We'll see us at some other stage again. We will be back.
I have to go because I'm empty.
You drank that very quickly. So
let's go and have me dinner.
We'll see you at some stage soon, and thank you very much for tuning in.
Who are you going to neck tomorrow, Ian?
NEC.
I know.
Very nice. Very good. And what you should do, if you're at the NEC and you see any famous YouTubers, do your best to get onto their videos. Although I think the really, really famous YouTube people get to go there as press in advance.
They're there today.
Yeah.
Okay, lads. Ihua.
Ihua. And obviously look after yourselves, my friends. Slán, slán, slán. Okay, go on. Now, that's ending. But I don't see, it says it's end. Oh, it has ended.